This is the All Things Nerd Podcast, Season 3, Episode 33. On tonight's cast, we're going to be talking about Sony Save Spider-Man, or Disney Save Spider-Man. Somebody save Spider-Man, because somebody. We'll get into that. We're also going to talk about the Matrix 4 is happening. Netflix has the power of Masters of the Universe, and the D23 Disney Plus news that dropped today of extra things coming. That means November 12th, I won't be anywhere to be seen but in front of my television. So with that, here's the intro. Hello to all the Geek Enthusiasts, Nerd Aficionados, Mess5150 here with another All Things Nerd podcast for you. I am your host, Mess5150. Joining me on this cast, we have IC Zorro. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. I was talking to somebody in a bar on Wednesday, and once they heard that I was on a podcast, they really wanted to be part of that. And then they immediately forgot what it was called. So that's fun.
Yeah, everybody wants to be part of a podcast, and pretty much everybody nowadays is. It's like, oh, I got a podcast. Oh, really? I've got 5. Oh, cool. I've got 10. Like, everybody's got podcasts. So
we can basically, you could walk up to any stranger on the street and ask them where their podcast is ranked.
Dude, the homeless guy that's sitting next to the alley by 7-Eleven is like podcasting from his box nowadays.
Absolutely. You know? Top, and he's top 10 ranked as far as homeless podcasters go.
It's a small but vocal community.
It's what did I yell at a cat this week? That's what episodes are about. Also joining us on the cast, we haven't seen him in a while because things keep coming up. He's finally joining us again. Nick is on the cast, or as Masonic Vader likes to call him, Raider is on the cast. How are you, sir?
Howdy, y'all. Good to be back. Good to be back. Started a new job, so I've been it's been a little crazy, a little bit hectic lately, but I'm glad to be back.
Basically, he's saying there's things that are more important than all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados.
Dollar.
Yeah,
I believe life does come first. Yes, no, I'm not. I'm just giving you a hard time. And lastly, doesn't matter if she's got a new job, she'll just get on the podcast from her job. Super Hoovy Freaks here on the cast.
I know, it's crazy. But, with the power of Wi-Fi comes the ability to cast.
Living in the friggin' future.
I know. It's pretty great.
Year 3000. Okay. Yeah, with that's who's here on the cast. So we always like to open up this show with what we've been geeking out on, nerding out on, what's been tickling our nerdy pop culture fancy.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't have much to say. My geek out is the same as it's been for the last 3 weeks because it's a binge session. Jack will love this, our producer. I've been binging Arrowverse, right? And today I got to the Flash musical episode.
It was surprisingly good, wasn't it?
No.
Like if you
I
just
fast forwarded through the dads singing.
Oh no, it was so good. So good.
And it bugged me for one major reason. Outside, I get it. You were figuring out a way to, hey, you got somebody from Glee, and he's got a great voice, yeah. So I understand it. I get it. 3 people from Glee.
Yeah, you've got Grant Gustin, you've got Melissa Benoist, and you've got Darren Criss. And
when is the one that showed up?
Oh, that's right. I forgot Darren Criss. Yeah, the guy in there.
And Victor Garber was on Glee. He played the dad of what's his face, Schuster.
Oh yeah.
In the first season.
Okay.
I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Okay, here's my issue. My issue was the lead up to the end of it. Barry proposes to Iris. She says yes. Then she finds out he proposed because he's trying to change the future, and she doesn't want to say yes because of some reason. And so he tells her that we should take a break. And then at the end of the episode, he proposes again. This is only probably a week separation of distance, and she looks more surprised and than she did when he first proposed, and was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm out on this scene.
Yeah, it was
didn't
cheesy.
give more build up to, like, they should have given it more
Yeah.
time before just, oh, we're just gonna
Yeah.
do this with the song. So
Yeah.
Jack says Burn in Hell musical episode. That's been my geek out. So my geek out is don't watch the musical episode. Skip forward to the very end of it and watch. Okay, the two things that you watch in the musical episode: the original song with Benoist and where they're doing like
Justin, yeah.
Yeah.
where they're doing like the little tap
I'm
dance.
your super friend.
That's great to watch.
Yeah.
That scene's fantastic. The rest of it you can skip, or you can watch the very end because you got to see when they get engaged, or you can just.
There's never been a musical episode of anything that has ever been done as well as Once More with Feeling was done in Buffy.
Oh god,
Yeah, that one was really good.
The number one musical episode.
I get that. But that's my geek out. My geek out is to stay far away from something and watch other stuff with it instead. Nick, what have you been geeking out on? Because we haven't seen you in a while.
Let's see. I'm still getting Red Dead Redemption gameplay on. Absolutely. Have y'all played that yet?
Not yet.
Nope.
Not
I don't have
yet?
time.
God, dude, it's awesome.
If you've noticed, there's 3 episodes of this cast that still haven't gotten up yet because I've been trying to catch up on stuff.
And did watch several movies in the theaters recently on date nights with the wife. Most recently, we went to go see. Gosh, I can't even remember. Good Boys,
Nice.
a comedy film. I laughed a lot. It's I was actually surprised of how funny it was. I did not think it was going to be as much fun going in as when I left. I laughed throughout the whole entire film. It was really well done. Seth Rogen did a really good job with this
funny
one.
moments with it, but yeah, it's not just a rehash, because that's basically the way that it was kind of being pitched, was like it's a rehash of the other films, but from 6th grade.
Yeah.
I started watching terrible movies again. So this week I have seen both Ghost Shark and Shark Exorcist.
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
did Shark Exorcist get rid of the Ghost Shark?
No, unrelated movies. Yeah, go figure. Although Bull from
Because we have a Ghost Shark.
Night Court and also the youngest daughter from Seventh Heaven are both in Ghost Shark.
If Bull from Night Court doesn't
Terrible.
bring his puppet with him from Night Court, then
there's no puppet. He's mostly just living inside an 8-year-old or 800-year-old bottle of rum or something.
Oh, that was going bad really
It's a
quick.
lot.
You were like 8-year-old. He's living inside an 8-year-old.
Nope, 800-year-old bottle of rum.
Where can we find these bad movies?
YouTube, actually. Yeah,
Nice.
straight up on YouTube. Actually, I'm sorry. Ghost Shark you can find on YouTube. Shark Exorcist is for free on Amazon.
Oh, there you go. And if you're heading over to Amazon, maybe you're going to be purchasing something while you're over there. So while you're there, you should go through our website first that has brought to this entire content to you, malice-corp.com. That is the website for all things nerd. Head over there, click on the Amazon link if you're going to be purchasing something, and you'll help us out and you'll still get your stuff. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Jack Malice says there's never been a good musical episode of anything, but Once More.
Oh, gosh.
That's
But he
a
doesn't
wrong.
like musicals, so
Yeah.
he's allowed that opinion.
That's because
What is
there hasn't
Once
been-
More with Feeling?
No, it's because
From
there
Buffy.
hasn't been a musical episode of the All Things Nerd podcast yet. But now here it comes.
String swell.
Super, what have you been geeking out on?
You know what? I was rewatching season 4 of iZombie because season 5 just dropped like last week. So I didn't really remember season 4 all that well. So it's like, I'm going to rewatch season 4 before I watch season 5, which I think is the last season of iZombie. So rewatching that. And then I found out the 3rd season of 13 Reasons Why ended up dropping today. So I'm probably going to binge watch that this weekend and then finish the iZombie.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I've got like 3 episodes left of season 5 to watch.
Is it good so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, season 4, if I remember correctly, kind of left on a weird note. So that's why I wanted to rewatch it, because I was like, I don't really remember how we got from there to there. So
Yeah, good.
Jack says,
Liv is continuing to be hilarious. She's awesome.
Jack says in the chat room, I've been geeking out on The Boys. I have seen true violence in my life, but that show shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah, it did. Like,
Yeah, The Boys, they didn't shy away from the comic,
No.
so
But that's
The Boys
Kripke,
on
though.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Is it as flagrantly violent as Preacher and Garth Ennis style stuff?
Oh God, yes, but I mean,
good.
but they don't shy away from it like Preacher. I mean, Preacher's timid compared to The Boys. So in terms,
Okay, I'll have to look into it.
yeah, so it's on
Is
Amazon.
The Boys
Prime.
on Netflix?
No,
Or is it on
Amazon Prime. Which
Okay.
also, once again, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime. So if you want to support a channel while you're watching a Twitch podcast, you hit that subscribe button above, and you can support the channel here. And it's free to you. It doesn't cost you anything, but you help keep everything running, keep our lights on, so to speak, in terms of the website. So he says they show all the gore. So yeah, that's what we've been geeking out on. All right. Let's move on to the main subject because we've got a lot of it to talk about. The nerd news. The number one story that we're going to be talking about today is I don't think anybody's heard about it. I don't think anybody's been talking about it at all because it's so small and tiny and insignificant. It's this there's this comic book character, Spider-Man. I guess
That's a ridiculous Spider-Man. What does that even mean?
They do movies about him. He was with Disney and Sony, and I guess Sony and Disney wanted to rework.
Is he like the Night Monkey?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is he like half spider, half man?
Actually, there's been episodes or there's been comics where he did turn into a spider for a little bit. So yeah, no. Basically, what happened is Spider-Man: Far From Home hit $1 billion. The second film in the merger with Disney and Sony, and since then, negotiations have been happening to work the next couple of movies that are going to happen with this current iteration of Spider-Man, and basically,
which I think we can all agree has probably been the best iteration.
Oh God,
Maguire, way better than Garfield.
Wise, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He is the most fun ever.
But I mean, Deadline basically reported that Disney, in the last deal when they got this all worked out, was that Sony would get 100% of the proceeds of the actual Spider-Man films, but Disney would help write, and Kevin Feige would help get everything worked out for the films. By doing that, they would be able to get the character of Spider-Man into the MCU films as well. And then they had merch. What ended up happening in this new contract that Deadline reported was Disney wanted to front 50% of the bill, which also meant getting 50% of the profit while getting 100% of merchandising. And Sony said, no, we're taking our Spider-Man and going home. And now the proverbial webbing has hit the fan. People are just losing their minds on this. And
of the interactions that I've seen online, I would say 9 out of 10 people are blaming Sony, with that 10th person being like, what the hell? You don't think Disney has enough money already?
Well, and that's exactly it. I'm
both.
saying it the other way. Everybody's blaming Disney that they're too greedy and that Sony's got their right. But I'm hearing it both ways. I want to hear thoughts on your guys before I go off on some of the tangents that I've heard and seen and stuff like that. What do you think about the whole process?
I think both sides are right. I think Disney is a greedy little bastard and wants more. They don't need 100. They should at least split the merchandise 50-50. I mean, you should get some of the movie proceeds. You're writing it. It's your movies. It's your world that you created, and they're giving you the name. So yeah, you should get some of the movie proceeds, but you do have enough money, and you can make this work if you just give a little. But you basically want to stranglehold Sony's throat, and Sony's just an idiot. they basically think they have all the power and everyone's going to come see their movie if they rewrite and redo the Spider-Man trilogy again. And you know what? I'm not gonna. Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. And if you're not going to bring him into the Sony world, or you're not going to keep the established flow that you have going, you know what? You can go do some really inappropriate things with a certain part of your anatomy.
Yeah, to
and,
family
and
members.
suck it.
Beacon jumps in the chat room and says Sony does, and they will. Welcome, Beacon, into the chat. And you missed your intro to your musical episode because you said they could give a little bit, and then you should have been like, give a little bit.
I know.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Beacon says history will continue to repeat itself.
Every time the
Sony
third
never
Spider-Man
learned.
movie is about to come out, it gets ruined.
Yeah, Sony does not learn. So Sony thinks like, well, why give up millions of dollars, when we can make millions, but we're going to lose billions? You're not going to make a movie that makes $1 billion, even if you had Tom Holland, because you don't have good writers.
Well, if you adjust for inflation, the first Spider-Man made 1.1 billion.
Which one? Which one?
The very first one. But
with Peter Parker.
Inflation. We don't talk about
I thought Tobey Maguire was a great Spider-Man.
I thought he was a good Spider-Man, and number 2 is still probably I have not seen Homecoming yet.
Number 2 is the best Spider-Man film in my opinion.
It's still the best one in my opinion. And so you had some good writers, but look at what you did with the mess that you made of Andrew Garfield. That was just a giant steaming turd pile served to us on a plate that we were forced to choke down because we love Spider-Man.
Spider-Man costume. I'm going to give my pros and cons.
Oh yeah,
he was a terrible.
Okay, there you go.
Character.
So you wrapped him in something pretty.
Was fantastic inside the Spider-Man costume.
Yeah, but the writing and the setup and the acting and everything else, it was just like, it was so crap. Like I can't ever watch it again. It makes me so angry.
Having Spider-Man in the context of the MCU really brought it to another level. Because, I mean, think of some of your favorite moments from the last few MCU movies. Spider-Man disintegrating into dust in Tony Stark's arms. The smile that everybody got on their face when he swung back in game. And just the stuff you've had him doing in his solo movies, like interacting with Happy. Like, what about Happy with May? Aren't they supposed to be dating now? That's going to go away. Dumb. I don't know. Sony's still going to make money. Anytime they make a Spider-Man movie, they're going to make money. But they could have made so much more, even splitting it with Disney, so much more in the context of the MCU.
Beacon says
it's a bad idea for everybody to break that up.
Well, no, it is. Beacon says it's not Sony in general, and they've never lost money on Spider-Man. Jack says Toby was a good Spider-Man and a crap Peter Parker. So yeah, I agree on that.
No,
but he wasn't a great Peter Parker.
I don't know. I thought he did Peter Parker pretty well.
I thought he did okay. I thought it was more his chemistry with
Garfield.
Kirsten Dunst. I thought was a little bit off.
That was god awful. Okay, so let me pinpoint some stuff because here's some things that have come out since this story dropped. And one, you brought up the point, like, why do you need all the proceeds for merchandising? And Disney already has enough money and everything. Yes, Disney owns it, but it's Marvel. And honestly, when it comes to the character, Marvel owns the character. Merchandising should be Marvel's 100%.
Okay.
It is a character. It is an own character. You don't give the merchandising of an own character for a cartoon that somebody else does a different iteration of that cartoon and they get the proceeds of that cartoon, but they get the merchandising as well. It's the owner of that cartoon that gets that merchandising. So they deserve it too. 2, Sony and Fox, I mean, it's backfired in the long run, but they took major advantage of getting these characters in the first place. Marvel was filing bankruptcy. Marvel was trying to fix itself, and Sony and Fox, Swimming with the Sharks, came in and was like, we'll offer you this much for the rights to these characters to make movies. And they didn't even treat the characters to the extent of what they needed to be treated. And somebody finally comes and writes the show properly or does the movies properly. And now all of a sudden they're like, no, we're going to do it ourselves. Keep in mind, before this Marvel merger happened, where they were going to bring Spider-Man into the MCU, Sony was working on an Aunt May movie.
Why?
Because they had to make something in the Spider-Man universe every 2 years just to keep the property. So they were putting out whatever dreck they could.
Wow. I mean, I would have at least
That would have been
preferred,
extremely
like,
boring.
Uncle Ben, the life he had before he was stabbed or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
Uncle Ben was secretly part of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
yeah, something. Just make something up.
Granted,
Stick Uncle Ben in there.
one of the best Spider-Man films recently is Into the Spider-Verse, and that was 100% Sony, but it was an animated and
That is my
That one
number
was
one.
pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome.
So maybe Sony has learned from this on what to do with Spider-Man.
Use Miles Morales.
But yeah, it has come out since this that Disney didn't just ask for 50% and give up 50%. They actually offered 25 to get just 25, and Sony said no. So now it's, where does the greed actually go?
Well, what were they getting before? They were getting like 5% plus 100% of merchandising?
Yeah, something like that.
They were getting 100% of merchandising and rights to use the character in their films. There was no percentage that they were getting of the or they got a percentage of the first 5% of the very first profit. So nothing on back end of DVDs or anything like that. It was only on
5% of box office.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is them going, hey, we've been doing all the casting, we've been doing all the writing, we've been
keeping the character relevant.
We're willing to put up 50% of the cost to get 50% back. And Sony was no, we can do it on our own. So then apparently it's been out all over the internet now that they were willing to do 25%, put up 25%, get 25% back. Sony would still get 75%. And they're still like, I don't know. So it's going to happen. They're going to merge. They're going to figure it out. They're going to fix it because the hashtags and the craziness that's gone all over the place, it's got to happen. You're going to have a boycott. Yeah.
People will boycott.
I put up a link to a slideshow of some of my favorite reaction memes to this whole situation in the Malice Corp page.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
See a lot of Mickey wearing the Infinity Gauntlet with ripping Sony out of Vision's head to put onto that last slot.
Yeah.
So Beacon says Sony shouldn't give up a damn thing. They really have zero reason. They should just produce an animated film every 2 years. Easy. I don't know if the animated gives them enough clout. I think they have to produce an actual, I don't know.
They do, yeah. I don't know though, to be honest.
He also says it's not really greed when you're talking about two fat kids fighting over cake. That's addiction.
One fat kid, one.
They're both fat. They're both movie
chunky.
studios.
Yeah. Well, look, couldn't they just do like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and just keep on doing movies off of that?
I guess, but here's the thing. So if this doesn't get fixed, think about it this way. I saw this note that popped up somewhere. The next Spider-Man film, because if it doesn't get fixed, you can't tie them together. So one, any mention of the MCU can't be in there for the next Spider-Man film, which means any of the tech can't be in there. Which also means Happy Hogan, who's become a major character, can't be in there. And then over on the MCU side, Spider-Man all of a sudden has to go fight some crazy villain off screen or dies off screen or something. I mean, this is what we're gonna get if they don't fix it.
Yeah, it's gonna be lame and stupid.
Yeah. So they'll fix it. We've just seen what it looks like negotiating between movie studios in real life by them releasing all this stuff. So it'll get fixed. Has to.
But friggin' better.
Just give me Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
At the end of the day, they all value money. And yes, it will get fixed because it's going to make them money.
It is.
You mean they're not just in it for the purity of the art and creation?
Sony will just leak something somewhere like they always do.
I think that the best one that I saw was somebody was saying that if Deadpool ever finally gets put into the MCU, they should have a scene at Deadpool's house where you see Tom Holland sitting on the couch, not Spider-Man, Tom Holland, and just kind of hanging out, and then people can ask Deadpool what the hell is he doing here. Be like, he's in the Sony Witness Protection Program as Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield crossing the background.
Well, that's the painful stuff. They've already had Hawkeye. I can't remember the actor's name right now.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner has already tweeted out, like, fix it. bring Spider-Man into the MCU, or keep Spidey in the MCU. And then the heartbreaker is Ryan Reynolds, because people are like, I want to see the Spider-Man Deadpool film, crossover. Don't you want to? And somebody
Absolutely.
Somebody sent that out to Ryan Reynolds, and he's like, well, so do I, but unfortunately now it only lives in my heart.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I don't know if you guys follow Tom Holland on Instagram. You probably don't, but he's been passive aggressive about it. So he unfollowed Sony on his Instagram account, and then he put up pictures of him and Robert Downey Jr. hanging out together, and everyone was captioned, "We did it, Mr. Stark. We fixed it, Mr. Stark. Look at us do this, Mr. Stark." I'm just like, oh, way to throw shade.
He's funny.
So, moving on to the next story, because we don't want to talk about all sad things. There's a convention for everything, right? So last weekend there was the PowerCon convention, which is a Masters of the Universe convention. It's strictly for He-Man and Masters of the Universe, and they were announcing that there's a new animated series of He-Man coming to Netflix. They already have She-Ra, and though she dealt with some backlash at first, people do like the cartoon apparently. But in this what they let be known in this panel is one of our favorites, Kevin Smith, is both showrunning and helping co-direct on this new Master of the Universe cartoon. And his big thing was, it's going to pick up right from where the original 80s cartoon left off. We're gonna fix the unresolved stories. It's going back to what we grew up with in the 80s. Well, at least some of us.
Steroids and bowl cuts.
Riding the Tigers.
Here's Smith's press release. I'm eternally grateful, Mattel TV and Netflix, for entrusting me with not only the secrets of Grayskull, but also their entire universe. In Revelation, which is the name of the series, Master of the Universe Revelation, we pick up right where the classic era left off to tell an epic tale of what may be the final battle between He-Man and Skeletor, brought to life with the most metal character designs powerhouse animation can contain in the frame. This is the Masters of the Universe story you always wanted to see as a kid. So he's promising a lot, but it's Kevin Smith doing a freaking He-Man cartoon. Come on.
I think it'll be good. I have no doubt.
That's like accidentally getting some peanut butter in your chocolate. It's going to work.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got, in terms of writers for the series, Eric Carrasco, who's a writer on Supergirl, Tim Sheridan, who's a writer on Reign of the Supermen, Daya Mishra, writer for Magic the Gathering, Mark Bernardin for Alphas, which I know you loved Alphas, Icy, I think.
Yeah, that was a great show. I loved it.
So, I mean, they're not shying away from good content for this. I think this is going to be a really, really good series. I know it's animated, but
I'm excited.
I don't even really remember a lot of, I know that I watched He-Man, Masters of the Universe, all that as a kid, but
Dude.
But I might have to do a retro.
You have to catch up on it as well.
This is the big thing. So, and Big Con says 1 million times yes. This is the big thing for me because I mean, it's so long ago, and I haven't kept up. I haven't watched it because anytime you go back and watch your old cartoons, you're like, oh my god, this is bad. a lot of times, but
go
I
ahead,
can't
sorry.
even think of, they left what's left open, the unanswered question. I'm like, what unanswered questions for He-Man could there be? I can't even.
If I can retalk Aaron into doing his whole He-Man, he used to do a whole skit where he played every character in the He-Man universe when he couldn't get me and my older sisters to join in. So he would just run around the living room and basically do He-Man's dialogue, and then he would run to the other side and he would do Grayskull's dialogue, and then he'd run to the other side and do. Yeah.
This needs to happen. This needs to happen.
Years ago.
This is what he gets for missing a week of the cast. We're making him do that now.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That I don't care if we have to film that ahead of time. That needs to happen.
I like it.
Or he's dressing up like Prince whatever of Eternia.
Adam, I think.
Yeah.
Prince Adam of Eternia. He's doing the Four Non Blondes song.
He was cosplaying before cosplaying was cool. I mean, he was doing a boo. He had a little tin can on his head that he tied with a string, and he was doing a boo in the kitchen with the apple.
I mean,
So cute.
I'm seeing so many possibilities for just a new segment on this cast.
I know. Yeah. This is what happens when he's not here to stop me.
Before we move on to the next story, Beacon says it's dedication from Aaron. And we also have joining us in the viewing room, lurking. Thank you guys. Commander Root's in there. Host Me Raffles in there. Lurks is back in there. S1 Faka. And Windsock is in there. So, and it's FAKA. That's why it's Faka. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Okay. Next story. This is a quick one. Matrix 4 is happening, and Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves are back for it, and the Wachowskis are writing.
Just one of them, just Lana.
Well, still, okay, one of them, yeah. But, yeah, Wachowski is writing. So, thoughts?
Well, you can't
I have
be any
mixed
worse
feelings
than the
on
third
this.
one. So, I mean, you really can't be any worse than the third one.
Yeah, that was awful.
Revolutions, yeah.
Yeah.
God,
So your
so
bar
bad.
to be good is already set really low. So you really don't have to jump that high to be better.
Yeah, if they can be half as good as the Animatrix, it'll be great.
What do you think, Nick? Because you said you have thoughts.
One of my nostalgia sets in. I was a huge Matrix fan, and then Reloaded came out, and I was like, eh. And then Revolutions came out, and I was like, wow, what did y'all just do? Some time has passed by.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is owed this. I mean, Keanu Reeves is just an awesome human being, so he deserves to get this opportunity to reprise Neo. And that's one of the reasons why I have optimism to hope that this film is amazing, that it lives up to. It's never going to be as good as the original Matrix. Nothing will be. But something that kind of comes in the ballpark of that, giving you that nostalgia that I had in the early 2000s. I think that movie was made in 99, actually.
Came out in 99, yeah.
Yeah, but
8 years.
get me back to that feeling of the first Matrix that I had, because the first Matrix was groundbreaking. That movie was just like unreal.
Brilliant.
Well,
I remember,
with the Wachowskis, I know this is only one. This is just Lana that's doing it, but any of them, it seems that everything outside of V for Vendetta, everything that they've dipped their toes in, either one of them dipped their toes into to try and do, has been to just try and capture the magic that happened with Matrix for them. And it's like you can tell it's like they're trying to like recreate it again, and they're just not.
Yeah, what was the one with
Channing Tatum and
yes.
I don't remember. God, it was
that
awful.
was terrible.
And you had an Oscar-winning actor in there as a bad guy that was just god awful.
It's like I want it to work so badly, but based off of how Revolutions kind of, it left a bad taste in your mouth. But you're rooting for Keanu Reeves because he's been doing great things with John Wick, and he's just a great human being in general. You want him to do well. You want him to capture that magic from the original Matrix. But that Revolutions movie, it's like, I think you made a good point, Super Hoovian. It's just, how can you get worse than Revolutions? I think they can only go up from there.
Well, that's my big question, though, is how do they re-enter the world? Because they really did close it 100%. I mean, they basically said, oh, yeah, it's a chess match that they've been playing forever, and we're just going to restart. You know, you won this time. Let's do it again. You know, it was such a stupid ending to it. And is that what we're going to do? Is it going to be like, hey, let's start all over, and now we're going to start over with them now in their older age, trying to.
Well, and they're also talking about recasting the Morpheus part and not having it be Lawrence Fishburne.
Not they were looking at Michael B. Jordan, because everyone's looking at Michael B. Jordan. But I read too.
Oh, please go with the joke and get Samuel L. Jackson, where they were like, I'm not that guy. please cast Samuel L. Jackson so he could just get mad at somebody again.
Yes.
But I read two really interesting fan theories. I don't think either one of them are going to be true because one is just like the dream of the fanboys. But Neo was never actually Neo. You combine with the John Wick universe and the John Wick universe. So John Wick has actually been Neo, and it's been his consciousnness. It's been uploaded into the Matrix, and now he's back
in the chat room. He says, "Okay, here it is. ... John Wick ... is ...
Mhm. Yeah. So there was that, but then there was another theory that Keanu Reeves is actually going to be the villain in the Matrix 4, and then of course there's always talking about time travel and whatnot, and how there's the idea that Neo didn't actually resurrect Trinity, but he just like reinstalled her consciousness into like a new body. So it wasn't really Trinity that was brought back. So is she going to do the same thing? Like, can she be re-uploaded, and can she do that same thing for Neo? Is that how they're going to bring him back? So these are just some theories that I was, looking around at online and, seeing what people are thinking. So it's kind of cool that there's this much positive buzz going into the Matrix 4. I'm not seeing a whole lot of negativity towards it. So I think that's
it's been the year of Keanu Reeves, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
Well, they could just maybe come out and surprise everybody and be like, hey, Reloaded and Revolutions, that never happened. We're going to pick up where the Matrix left off and just do it. Like,
please don't do that.
Terminator style?
It would be a cop-out.
I don't know. It's like
Terminator,
I would be
I'm fine with, because they've tried so many times to fix it and they can't.
I want him to learn how to play guitar by uploading the track to the back of his head so he can finally get one on a roll.
The real world, that's not the Matrix, with all the with their shaved heads and stuff like that. That was actually the Matrix 2.0, and now they find out they need to get out of this world because
Russian nesting dolls.
So they got to get into it. Yeah,
it's Inception. And the core world is Bill and Ted. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Blew your minds, didn't I? Okay. So we're going to go to our last story. We love talking Disney here, don't we?
Most of the time.
I mean,
judging by our
sometimes,
content, most of the time.
Except when they take our Spider-Man away.
They own my childhood, man.
They also own everything. It's impossible to talk pop.
They own everything.
Talk Disney at this point.
And they're going to own my time on November 12th. They really are. Like, for the next week after November 12th, I'm not going to be able to do anything but be watching Disney Plus. Because D23 Expo happens every other year. And today was the first day of the Expo. They're having their movie panel tomorrow. So stay tuned to D23 for what they're going to be adding to Disney Plus for just movies, probably. Or maybe, I don't know. This was the Disney Plus panel happened today. And they released a lot more information for it. They'd released a bunch of stuff at San Diego Comic-Con, and they weren't shy about releasing stuff even more here. We got all what was expected of the Marvel characters that we know and we've come to love from the MCU that are going to be part of Disney Plus. Well, what they introduced to us today was the characters that we don't know about, that many have been clamoring for a long time, getting their own series. So one, Moon Knight is getting a series finally, which he's basically the Marvel version of Batman. He's an amazing character. She-Hulk is getting her own series. Mrs. Marvel, which is their Indian character, very popular character for the comic books, is not only getting her own series, but she will for sure be in the movies as well, they confirmed.
Awesome.
Any thoughts on any of the Marvel series that they announced?
I'm excited for She-Hulk. I mean, that's a character they haven't really explored at all, film or TV wise. So I think it's a nice fresh take, especially since they can't do anything right now standalone with the Hulk.
Yep, they failed twice.
Yep. Well, no, they don't own the rights to it. It's the same kind of situation where they're allowed to use him in the MCU universe, but they cannot do a standalone Hulk movie. because of whoever owns the rights to it will not let Disney. That's why we haven't gotten a Hulk with Mark Ruffalo.
No, they did standalone movies, but it was Universal was the first.
Yeah.
That's
What
what I
it was
that's
Ed
what I was
Norton
reading.
first.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it was
Ed
Eric
Norton.
Baunya first.
Eric Baunya
Eric
for the
Bana,
Universal
then Ed
one,
Norton.
So I don't know. That was what I read, but there's so much crap out there on the internet. I could have read a wrong article.
Yeah. You guys, anybody else?
I don't know enough about those characters to have a strong opinion. I know that people that I know that were super into comics love Moon Knight, so I'm looking forward to that.
Moon Knight is
Yeah.
awesome.
I wish we could get Igor Friday night off so that we could get him on here to talk about that stuff.
I'm not well versed enough either. I've kind of like Icy Zorro. I've heard of what he was referring to, Moon Knight, but I'm not really familiar with the others.
Okay. Let's get you some of the Disney known stuff. The Disney known stuff. And Beacon joins actually subscribe to the Twitch Prime channel for the 11 months in a row. Thank you so much, Beacon. Thank you for joining in. He says he's got to run. So,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hilary Duff is coming back to reprise Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Anybody
speaking, since you went to the teen route, I am very annoyed by when I went to the Masters of the Universe article, every single banner ad was for frickin' Liam Hemsworth and Miley Cyrus splitting up. I'm like, how do these two things interact, and what the hell have I been Googling that this pops up?
Yeah, that did not come up for me. I'm interested to see what's in your cookies.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the heck? Like, I don't care
What,
about
they
those two.
split up again?
Apparently.
They did. They got married, and then they got divorced within a
They
couple
got
months.
divorced. But yeah, so
Oh.
nobody cares about Lizzie McGuire.
I would love
I
to see Miley Cyrus come back as Hannah Montana with
Oh God,
the current
For me-
look.
that I don't think will ever happen. She's
Oh.
figured out what Disney wants to do.
I would
it
love
was
to see
show
a
I grew up on.
30-something. I would love to see a 30-something Hillary Duff reprise the role of Liz McGuire as like a 13-year-old. So a 30-something-year-old trying to play a 13-year-old. That would be awesome.
Yeah, no, that would be weird.
She hasn't even aged her character.
Yeah,
But
still
I mean-
in early high school.
But they're,
Yep.
35-year-old.
Oh, she's
There's
younger
some-
than me.
they're seeing the success from Veronica Mars, both the movie and the season 4 that just came out.
It was so good.
It was so good, so they're gonna try to do the same thing. Now, I grew up with Lizzie McGuire. I'm probably the only one in here that actually watched the show,
Mhm.
because I was, I think, 11 or 12, when it was airing. So I watched that. I watched, Sister, and all that stuff that was on Disney back in the day. And at the time, I thought it was a really good show. I tried watching it again when I used to nanny. Didn't hold up quite as well over time. Like, I thought Sister kind of held up more over time. Family Matters, obviously, Full House, those shows.
Yes,
but
Family Matters.
The nostalgia when I tried to rewatch it with the kids just wasn't there like it. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but the characters just weren't appealing.
We're getting a new Phineas and Ferb movie. Phineas and Ferb, the movie Candace Against the Universe. I love Phineas and Ferb.
That
Never
could be done.
seen a single minute of it.
Oh God, watch it. It was so great, especially their Marvel crossover episode they did. So, so we already knew about High School Musical, the series. Forky asks a question, a new collection.
Was this Zac Efron going to be the gym teacher?
Please no.
We're getting a new collection of shorts from Pixar Studios, which should be great.
Pixar shorts are always good.
Always good. I approve of that.
Because it's Forky asking a question. So the short had Forky ask the question, "What is money?" And Ham come on to explain it. Very short, very cute, very funny. So probably these little shorts of like Forky asking different questions. Then you got Monsters at Work. So that's the Monsters. We knew we were going to get a Monsters Inc. Television show, but it's not Monster High School or college, whatever it was. It's not Monster.
Does Billy Crystal just really need the work, or
No,
I don't know.
them. It's Ben Feldman and Aisha Taylor are the main characters, and let's see. He's playing the lead, Ben Feldman's the lead character, and Aisha Taylor is playing his mom.
Okay.
It's
Not a
not monsters
combination.
without John Goodman and Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really isn't. Unless you're bringing in a whole new set of characters, but doesn't work for me. I love Aisha Tyler though. Like I love her.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
so
She plays Lana on
she's
Archer.
hilarious. She's hilarious.
She is absolutely hilarious.
She's what?
And if you-
She's
Lana
Lana
on Archer.
Archer. Did you watch Archer?
Oh, okay.
And actually,
Yeah.
in real life,
Yeah.
kind of looks like Lana. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So they announced the What If TV series before. Then they gave us some details of the Watcher is going to be explaining every single story at Comic-Con, that they're going to be using voices from previous characters. Probably not Spider-Man. Let's see, fix that. But they gave us another little detail on the episodes for What If. They said what it sounds
One of
like.
them is going to be what if Marvel never gave up the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. It says they sound like you said, each episode will take an MCU film and change one little thing to see how it changes out the entire aspect of what happens based off of that. So it's going to be based off of the MCU stuff only, it looks like. And then it says, in the What If footage, Peggy Carter became super enhanced instead of Steve Rogers. She rocks a Union Jack shield. Captain Carter, she called herself. So they got some footage of it at the thing. Also, Star-Lord was not Star-Lord, and Winter Soldier fought a Captain America zombie. So, the Loki series will be 6 hours, so 6 episodes, looks like.
Aw, that's not enough.
Other things that were announced. Okay, first trailer. The World According to Jeff Goldblum, we got the trailer for, which is him going around and just doing.
It's a Jeff Goldblum travel show, basically. It's like
Goldbluming.
It is
yeah.
amazing. Looking.
I love that guy so much.
Will be.
I do too.
He's awesome.
Here's the thing: most people think like, oh, Mandalorian's gonna be the first thing I binge, and I'm binging the Jeff Goldblum show.
I am too. His facial expression when that girl told him that she thought he was a pork belly. And she's like, wait, no, you don't have belly. You don't have belly. And he's just like, priceless.
The funniest thing I've ever seen Jeff Goldblum do is where it was like a short clip, and he's like, people always come up to me and they're like, is it Jeff Goldblum or Goldblum? And I always respond, how dare you speak to me?
I love that guy so much. I remember he had a show on USA for like a season, like something about rains or something. He was like a detective or something. It was a terrible show, but it was worth it just for watching Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it looks like this one they just let him do whatever he wants on the show. That's what I love when he's in it. He's doing it. It looks like he's doing tattoos, and he's got the tattoo gun. And he's like, ooh, does it stop? And they're like, no.
Yeah, he goes, ooh, vibrating. Is it gonna just keep doing that? They're like, yeah. He goes, I like that.
But yeah, that looks amazing. Then we didn't get the trailer for this, but there is Encore. I gotta know what you guys think about this after we were talking about musical episodes. Encore is a show where Kristen Bell reunites high school musical casts and have them perform shows again. Their encore performances.
I would do that. I would be on that show.
40-year-old, basically me, 40-year-old, like bellies and no hair. They were the star when they were in high school.
I would have to use so much less age makeup now. Could do Fiddler, could do Camelot, could do Brigadoon, or what was it, Man of La Mancha?
Those late bloomers that their voice hadn't cracked yet. Now they're going to be trying to sing this, or the
yeah.
That's the thing, is how long after high school? Is it 20 years? Because I want these people that have been like smoking and drinking for 20 years.
Oh yeah, my voice does not sound like now like it did then. That's for sure. But actually, when we did Camelot, the guy that played the role of Lancelot is actually a professional opera singer now. So that would be fun.
That's pretty awesome.
Okay. On our live action movies, the first we got was Lady and the Tramp trailer. What'd you guys think? Or do you want to describe it to us, Super? Or
Yeah, I turned my video off for a hot second, but I can still hear you. Okay, so first off, Disney finally got a live action movie right when it involves animals, and then it still made me angry because I never ever wanted in my life this movie as a live action. Like,
Did it make you
I am
angry
not
because they actually got a rescue for Tramp, or you're like, no, they should
like, well, the dogs were adorable, don't get me wrong. Like, I thought the trailer overall was really adorable, and it was really sad when she was standing there like holding the leash in her mouth and everyone was ignoring her because we humans suck, and you know um but it was just like I was sitting there watching it, and you're just like, why is this even a thing? Like, did Disney not learn from Lady and the Tramp 2 Scamp's Adventure that nothing will replace that classic, they
Well, I just want to know: are they gonna have super stereotyped racist Asian cats?
no,
Probably
no,
not.
that's already been
I
said
see
that
Yeah.
they're going to exclude
Kit
that.
Young's voice
Yeah.
Because I know
voice cast.
yeah, one of the things that I noticed was that they did go a little more diverse in the casting of the actual humans,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs.
Nothing as
Darling
racist
or
as
whatever.
Dumbo, though.
Yeah, well,
No, Song of the South.
Song of the South, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
they edited that down, so
but it looked like it looked like it was going to be fine. It's not a movie I'm going to go spend my money on.
this is my fear of it is, and I'll watch it. Well, you're not gonna spend your money. And if you're getting Disney Plus, you're gonna have it because it's coming out with
True.
Plus.
Very true.
That was my thing on it. Was like, is it bad enough that they're like, we're gonna put this on the streaming service instead of trying to get money out in the theaters? Like,
Yeah, that just tells me that
It's usually a red flag.
yeah,
it's literally going to be the exact
I mean-
same movie, but you're putting in live dogs.
they're coming out with some powerhouse stuff on Disney Plus, so it's not like the same type of streaming where it's like, straight to video type of thing where they're putting this one on.
The casting makes me optimistic that
Yeah.
I'm hoping they're going to do something decent with it.
But
Not
the-
It makes me feel like, because now what Netflix is doing, where they're making sure to put stuff out into theaters for a little bit just so they can be into award nominations,
yeah.
makes me feel like what they did with this was like, there ain't no way this is going to win any type of awards, even on the special effects. Just put it on the streaming service.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
so you got Tessa Thompson doing the voice of Lady, Justin Theroux being the Tramp, Sam Elliott as the Hound Dog next door. Yvette Nicole Brown is doing something in there. Janelle Monáe, like, this is a good
Great cast.
cast.
It's a great cast, yeah. But I feel like it's going to be the literal movie just with real dogs instead.
Yeah.
And I hung with Beauty and the Beast because it's my favorite of all the Disney movies. And at least they changed it up a little bit, and they added some new scenes and some new songs and new parts. But I don't need to see a movie that's identical, so we'll see.
Again, it's the case that's been made, and now I understand it more as people talk about it. It's that ability. Now, this is in the theater, so it doesn't have that same type of fight, but it was that ability to see the movie that you loved growing up with your children. And
That's a good,
new
that's a good way.
prejudice. But now this one's not in the theaters, so you don't have that argument to use. Like, I just watched the Aladdin remake. It was great. I liked it. I
Right?
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But up until I didn't enjoy it at first. Up until the genie showed up, it was a complete exact duplicate, and I was like, I'll just show the cartoon to my kid. But
Yeah.
then you saw the little intricacies and changes, and what they did to Jasmine's character, making her even more vocal and more known. And then I was like, okay,
they gave her a whole song about female empowerment. It was great.
It's great. But
I loved the little side plot with Nassim Pedrad and the genie.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So, but I think the problem with this is what got overshadowed is everybody got the trailer for Lady and the Tramp because everybody knows it. It's history for us. There's a movie called Togo coming out on here that stars Willem Dafoe and sled dogs. Come on.
No.
Willem Dafoe and sled dogs.
No. I love Willem Dafoe, but no.
There was a barking.
If it was Walton Goggins and Sled Dogs, then maybe.
We did get a trailer for Noelle, with Anna Kendrick.
That looked good.
Anna's daughter. And yeah, what'd you guys think? Because I thought that looked great.
It looked. I mean, the sense of humor is exactly what a Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick movie should be.
It looks like it belongs in the Elf universe, and I think this
Exactly.
would be put them together.
It looks like if Elf and Santa Claus and what's that other movie? They had a baby, you know, basically. I love Anna Kendrick. I'll probably see it, and but dang, it looks crazy.
I mean, with those two people in it, I would wish that it would be an R rating, but I don't think that's probably going to happen.
No, it's not for a Christmas movie.
And Ruru too joins us in the chat room with his chant of nerd, and he says it looks like a TV movie, and that's because it is, because it's on a TV streaming service.
Yeah.
The Hallmark Channel. I get what you mean.
The other thing I'm excited for is we're getting Muppet Studios unscripted shorts. So, yeah. So, you know, more Muppets for me. I'm always happy. Yeah. Then you got your Star Wars stuff. So they did name the eras now of everything. You have the Age of Republic, which is the prequels, the Age of Rebellion, which is the original series, and Rogue One and stuff being thrown in there. And then you have the Age of Resistance, which is the new films. So yeah. They're going to start filming on the Cassian Andor show soon. Thank God, because Tudyk was there, so he's coming back as the robot.
Excellent.
They also said that the next season of Clone Wars will premiere in February on Disney Plus.
Awesome.
And then we got our trailer that we've all been waiting for, and the Mandalorian trailer was given to us. And I think it looks amazing.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, we were all going to watch it anyway, but
yeah.
I have seriously high expectations.
Guilty.
Well, just that shot of IG-88, the robotic bounty hunter taking people down, was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then that very final scene of the door shutting on whoever he was grabbing was like, this is not gonna hold back. It's gonna be, you know, maybe it's time to put the little ones to bed first before you watch Mandalorian.
Yeah, Rutu says they spent $120 million on the series, so it better look amazing.
It better look amazing. It did look amazing.
And I liked that it was sort of a minimalistic trailer. It didn't give away too much. It was mostly just setting the mood and showing a little bit of action stuff.
Though that opening sequence with all the helmets on the spikes gave me a very Game of Thrones vibe.
That's exactly what my wife said. She's like, it's like Game of Thrones, but Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's not going to make any money.
Here's the funny thing. She sees the Mandalorian and she's like, that's not Boba. I'm like, no. She's like, Jango? I'm like, no. She's like, Grandpa Fett? I'm like, no, it's not. It's just the Mandalorian. It's completely
she
different.
Ran out of Mandalorian, she knew.
Yeah. One of the things that popped into my head is that the first time we saw a Mandalorian, the first time Boba was introduced to the world,
you're going back to it,
Star Wars special. He was riding a dinosaur and saving them from sinking into a jelly planet.
So you're hoping that there's an episode where this Mandalorian rides a dinosaur
on a jelly
planet. Yes, okay.
Absolutely.
Space Spartacus is what Rutu said.
And then randomly an 8-minute disco song would be good.
So, but that's what we got announced for Disney Plus. And once again, I've already said they got my money, but now they have my time as of November 12th. This isn't even touching. They showed a little clip trailer of old stuff that's coming to the channel as soon as it opens. And I mean, it's
so much good stuff.
There's so much. So just give Spider-Man back to Disney, Sony.
Come on, Sony. If you don't, you're going to get bought by them. So just do it.
That was my favorite meme that I saw. It's Rocket talking to somebody, and he's like, how much for Spider-Man? And it's like, not for sale. And he's like, how much for the whole company?
Yep. Yes. How much for the gun? And then it's not for sale. How much for the arm? Yeah.
So replace that scene with those words instead. So, that's it. That's what we got. Well, there was a lot more stuff we could have talked about, but we only have an hour-long show. So that's what we got for this week. Let us know what your thoughts are. Which series are you most excited for D23? She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, or Moon Knight? And if you don't know any of those are, go pick up a comic book. Go check them out. They're fantastic stories. Miss Marvel is exceptional as well. So, yeah, let's talk about where you can follow everybody outside of this cast. Nick, where can people talk to you if you're not on the cast?
Raider0314 on Twitter and on PlayStation Network.
What about you, Super?
At Super Hoovian Nut on Twitter, and then at Super Hoovian Freak on Instagram.
And I see Zorro.
At ITZorro, Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation Network.
Jack, I think, wants us to sing She's Super. Thanks for asking. Chat room. He's trying to get that musical episode of All Things Nerd to go. If you want to check out everything having to do with the Malice Corp channel, head on over to the website, malice-corp.com. Check us out on Stitcher, Spotify, Google, anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, over on youtube.com at the Malice Corp channel as well. And please jump over to Facebook. Look up groups, All Things Nerd Podcast. Come interact with us. Drop memes, drop stories, drop whatever you want over there. Just not your pants. Please don't do that. And we will chit chat with you about nerd, geek, and pop culture. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at @mest_MaliceCorp. You can follow me on Instagram at mest5150. You can check me out on all my personal adventures that I have over at Geek Guidepost on YouTube. And lastly, if you want to check out this entire podcast on Twitter and interact with us there, All Nerd Podcast on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining us. You keep nerding on, and we will see you next Friday.
Carry on.
Peace out.